This is my response to Billy's Talking Points memo of Monday, August 4th, 2014. I must say, Billy, you really have outdid yourself today. You went all over the place. It was just unbelievable. I don't know if I can even come up with all of the scenarios that you brought up and have any type of enough time to dispel some of them. But let me just start off with your topic was that America's weak. And of course, you're blaming Obama for the weakness. No doubt about that. That's the only thing you know how to do lately. But, I don't think America's weak at all. I think America is a very strong country. It has been a strong country and it will continue to be a strong country. Though there are a lot of problems in America, there's plenty of problems in America. Are many of them solvable? Yes, many of them are solvable. Are they solvable in this political climate right now? Probably not right this minute. But, we can always look for something to happen in the future. But let's get started right away. So, I think you read something from The Economist. That was May of 2014. One of the things that The Economist talked about is the weak sanctions that Obama put on Russia. Well, if I'm not mistaken, he put on some pretty much heftier ones in the last couple of weeks. So you used something beforehand where Obama has already changed his position on that and increased the sanctions. Also, they talked about crossing the red line in terms of Syria and the chemical weapons. Of course, at the same time, I know, and I know that you know, Billy, that guess what? We have gotten and we have worked with our European allies and we have gotten almost all of the chemical weapons out of Syria. That was strength. And guess what? All of that was done without sending one American over there to die. And that's a real hellhole over there. And you know that and I know that. And you got into the next one. The next points you got into was the ISIS movement. Okay, well, ISIS is Sunni, and they're against the Syrian government. So at one point in time, McCain wanted to arm the rebels, which would have been ISIS. Okay, now when ISIS goes into Iraq, McCain is running around saying, "Oh, we need to arm the Iraqis more so that they can fight ISIS." Where's all that coming from? That's not Obama's fault. Obama wanted to have the armed force, the services agreement with Iraq, which Iraq refused. By the time Obama walked into office, Bush had already set up basically Maliki as the de facto Sharia ruler in Iraq. And in the meantime, they're squashing all of their opponents, mostly the Sunnis. So when the Sunnis get a little bit of a stronghold in Syria, and they bring it over because Maliki's government doesn't know how to run itself, and they overrun all these towns in northern Iraq. What is Obama supposed to do? Come to Iraq's rescue? We trained them. We gave them guns. They lost their guns. A lot of those guns are in ISIS's hands, and we're supposed to save them again? No, they need to stand up. You say that people need to stand up, but. It's a terrible situation all around, because I'm no ISIS fan, and also there's another thing that's going on. I know that there hasn't been much written in the paper, a whole lot about what's going on in Iraq, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you and I don't really know of in terms of what the United States may or may not be doing to help Iraq in terms of ISIS, and there's all kinds of things that are going on that we don't really know of right now. And then you brought it back to the domestic front about how Obama is weak, and God, God, where do I stop? I think one of the things that was most disappointing hearing, is saying, that because of the internet, because of not discipline, et cetera, that our kids are growing up and they're not growing up right. I think that the generation that's growing up now is the great generation. It's going to be another great generation. I think that. The same thing was true of your generation, Bill, which would have been my generation, 30, 40 years ago. We didn't have a World War II where they had that type of thing. But I think that any generation in America would stand up at any time if there was a true national catastrophe that needed to be addressed. And, there are a lot of things wrong with our school systems. But, we have to keep trying. Money's got to be put into these school systems every day. Teachers have to be taught. Teachers have to teach. We have to come up with curriculum. We have to do these things because we need to accelerate our brain power. Because we're in a very competitive world environment. Whereas 40 or 50 years ago, we were the undisputed leader. Well, that's not the way it is anymore. And we have to change. We have to change our school system. Not, you're bitching and moaning about the internet isn't what's going to change the school system and make things better. What's going to change it better is to have good curriculum, to have good teachers, to teach good teachers, to pay good teachers, to retain good teachers. Okay? To maybe make school longer during the day, for preschool education programs, all of those types of things. Our competitors all over the world are doing those things. We're not doing those things. You brought in the other aspect that, God, you were all over the place today. What was the other thing? You brought in, Congress can't do anything. We're gridlocked. About this and we're that. Gridlocked. We have, and of course you were blaming Obama for a lot of this stuff. We've had a Congress, a Republican Congress, that hasn't done anything to help Obama. You talked about people being on the dole, having to go on Social Security, having to go on Medicare. People saying that, of course, you made the implication that more people are trying to go on because they're not really sick, but they just want to be on the dole because they can't find a job because Obama's not providing jobs, blah, blah, blah. The stock market is very high. Yes, income has gone down for the average American, but Obama and the Democratic Congress is trying very, very hard to alleviate that. All of the different things that they want, minimum wage, well, there's a whole host of things. I can't think of them all. Can't get them into them right now. But there's a whole host of things that the Republicans won't pass at all. Okay, they won't tax anything for anything. They won't allow government services, which we need to get going. We need efficient and effective government. We don't need government representative our government in Congress. Not believing in less government, but believing in no governance whatsoever, or the least amount of governance whatsoever. We need a Department of Education. We need a Department of Agriculture. We need a Department of Energy. These things are vital to U.S. interests, both now and in the future. And people going on the dole, which you were talking about, they can't get jobs because there isn't the kind of investment in the United States that we need to have. The things that will create jobs, that will help pay for schools, that will help pay for education, that will help pay for our defense. Okay, these are things the Republicans in Congress are holding up. And I'm not stupid. I know that you know, Billy, that those things, that the Republicans are holding that up. But you have to have a fall guy, and your fall guy is always going to be Obama. And you brought up Putin. We'll get into Putin just for a minute. Yeah, he's a bad guy. He wants to go back to the Tsarist Russia thing. I understand that. He's got more weapons than the Ukraine. I understand that. He's a half a world away from us. I understand that. There's not much we can do. This happens all the time in everyone's administration. If I remember correctly, the Chinese took down a plane the first couple of weeks. Bush came in. We got the plane back. It was a spy plane. Right? Everyone's doing this. China has been fighting Japan and the Philippines and Korea for those little tiny islands for 100 years or more. This hasn't gone on just in the Obama administration. It's been going on for a long, long time. China. Why do they want to do it? They think there's mineral stuff underneath there. They think there's oil under there. They want that land. All right, and these are things that will be tested. But as Obama pointed out, when we stopped. We got all of the chemical weapons out of Syria. No American died. No Americans going over to Iraq, to shoot down any ISIS thing that's going on. Iraq's got to do that. All right. I think America is showing tremendous amount of leadership. Not going into war with Russia. Not going into war with Syria and Iraq. Not going to war with Iran, which a lot of people in the Republicans, a lot of neoconservatives really, really want to do. All right, this is not, and the other thing, and I really love the way you did this, Billy. You really love it because you really say that the world is a terrible place. You live in fear, and I'm going, hey, people are traveling all the time. People are taking vacations all the time. They're going all over the world. You live in a very isolated bubble, which I understand is actually underground. You drive there, you go underground, you're underground all day. You hear all the shit that happens around the world. You blame Obama. and then you go on TV and tell the world, tell your audience that this is a dangerous world, and we need to watch Bill O'Reilly to tell us how dangerous it is. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with any of that. You know, Obama has shown tremendous amount of leadership. He's moving us forward, and people like you are the ones that are holding us back.